We're getting smooth now. It's moving smoothly. So we will do the first exciting thing. I'm gonna put the first nozzle on. So you guys just stand back and let me. What I do is I want to make sure it's flowing good when the first nozzle goes. So I'm just gonna make sure that there's no gaps in the threads, and it's flowing out about as fast as I could expect it at the current rate of output. It's moving pretty good, and then I go stop, and then I pop that out, and then my finger hurts from that fingernail from that hickory nut yesterday that went under there, and then I put this in, and then
starting with 17?
16. That's the biggest goes. 16 millimeters is the biggest nozzle. Tighten it, start up again. And it should go, I can tell it's going, it'll come out at 16 unless something's really wrong. Now, I might have started at 15. If I have a lot of nuts and they're like the same day after day, I know it's going to run good. I might start at 14 or 15. But since this is the first time of the year, I'm starting at 16. I don't want to jam up the very first time to put a nozzle on. But you can see it's getting shinier, it's a little more compact. The flow will get a little steadier. We've got a little bit more pressure behind there. This isn't quite as hot as, it's pretty close. And this is comfortable back here. You know, you can touch this where the oil comes out. That's probably 110 degrees. You know, that's fine. But then on the front here it's hot because this is where the actual bottleneck is. And depending on how well it goes, I might wait 10 minutes or something before I try to go the next size down. And we'll get oil now, but it won't be as efficient as it will be.
So open is extremely inefficient, but it's to start it up. It needs it in order to get warm and things flowing.
Right.
Then you start with the highest. Is part of the efficiency over the first 3 hours gradually is you increasing or decreasing the millimeter of this? I guess.
Part of it is, yeah, and I'm not sure exactly how much. However, I mean, let's say we were going to get down to 11 today. So when I'm doing hickory, I'm aiming to get down to 11. I've never got it lower than that.
Yeah.
Every year I think, maybe this year 10 will work, and it doesn't. I've never got 10 to work. But if I started at 11, this would just jam up. And it might take me 45 minutes, you know, to disassemble this thing if it jams up. So
if you were doing this for 5 or 6 hours, you might be able to do it to 11?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. But by 3.5 hours, I'm going to get to the smallest size I'll be able to hit for the day.
Okay.
So every time you press nowadays, you do get it down to 11 because you're doing
Not always. If the nuts are too moist, sometimes they can only get down to 14. I've pressed batches. A couple of years ago when I went to Akiva's thing, I wanted to have oil to bring Akiva, and my nuts weren't dry enough. Mm-hmm. I had to run it open. That's the only way I could even run it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so...
Is it just way less efficient?
It was way less efficient. Okay. But I just was like, I really wanted to bring him some oil.
So when you say the yield is 8.5 gallons of nuts per gallon of oil, that's based off of an average from open to 11?
Yeah, but probably on a 6-hour pressing. Like a longer pressing, like 11 hours, I'm probably doing better than that. You know, because I set that number before I realized how much I was losing in the first 3 hours.
Okay.
And when I say I'm losing in the first 3 hours, I'm losing most of that in the first hour. Okay. I don't know. It's hard to know. And of course, how you measure what you're using, the best you can do is to keep track of every single batch, input, output, time, and look at averages.
Yeah.
You know, so that's not like a number. It's not like I weighed exactly, you know, 434 grams of maple sugar, and I know exactly what I got. I'm estimating to get that number. Yeah. So this is for mounting an agitator. These slots here, so that it never bridges. Which
the slots at the bottom.
These slots here.
Oh, got it.
And there's
they sell them? KernKraft sells them?
I believe so. I'm assuming because there's actually an agitator bracket I have for this. I took it off because I needed, well, in the beginning, I was having trouble getting it to go through at all. And that agitator bracket was just in the way, so I took it off. But I'm ready now to have the agitator on.